Hello, folks. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Nerd Cave Show. It's Tuesday night, 7 p.m. I hope you're ready to have some fun and chit chat and listen to Ray talk about all things tech and nerdy. Because I know I am.
Am I supposed to have fun too?
No, Ray's not. See, I'm not even turning his camera on yet.
I see you were.
No, actually, I'm going to turn it over to him. But thank you for joining us. And here comes the show. This is it. Yep.
Good
Bam!
evening, everybody.
Yeah.
A little off there.
A little bit. Just a minute. It's all
Hold on.
right.
I'll fix that right now.
Yeah, there we go.
This is some different stuff you brought us tonight, Beard.
Yeah.
He brought us, for Happy Juice tonight, it is the Sexton Single Bolt.
It's a good whiskey.
It's different. It's what do we call it? We were saying it's earthy.
It's earthy.
It's
yes.
definitely making me warm.
This is the stuff to drink on a chilly winter night.
It really is. I mean, it's from Ireland, so it's area correct. But yeah, it's really different. It really is.
As you can see, it's got a nice color to it.
It's a little bit
Nice,
darker
a
than
little darker.
normal, but it's
Which
really
when it's really, come on, yeah, fits.
good evening, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful, slightly misorganized Nerd Cave show. I had something better to say than that, but yeah, I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I want to apologize that we weren't on last week. Life happens. Me and somebody else were going to do something anyway. We're going to do something like a little short format, and that kind of fell through. I was beat tired last week. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, especially with the wintertime. One thing we're going to let you guys know, just kind of keep in mind, at any point in time, we can go offline.
Yes.
And most of that's due to the fact that it's raining pretty hard and storming pretty hard outside right now. So
yeah, we got thunder and lightning out there.
It's nice out
Don't know
there.
what
I'm
could
digging
happen.
the weather.
It's beautiful.
But it's right now it's just raining like mad. And a few minutes ago, it was just thunder out there, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good start to a show." Nice
We're
little lightning.
battling the elements to bring the show to you. This is how much we care.
Yes, exactly. Before we get into it, there was one thing I was gonna bring it up, and I completely forgot about, but I want to bring it up now. Those of you guys have been following the whole, because if anybody remembers, years ago, someone found and got a hold of the original prototype that Sony was working on with Nintendo, and it was the Nintendo PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's basically what happened. You guys don't know the story. Sony and Nintendo were working together because Sony and Nintendo wanted to work with a disc-based game console. Well, they were working with Sony, and then all of a sudden they decided to go, no, we're going to do our own thing. And Sony was like, well, we put all this effort into it. We're going to release our own. But the original prototype was just about done. I mean, it was just about complete. They had a working console, an actual Nintendo or Sony Nintendo PlayStation. Well, somebody got a hold of it, and it's been floating around for the years, and you guys didn't even follow it. Ben Heck got a hold of it, and he actually got the thing working. On top of that, he's been able to get some modders out there to actually write games for it. So here recently, it was put up for auction. Now, mind you, this is a piece of gaming history, and it's one of a kind. There is no other out there. So it recently went out to auction, and Greg Lamore picked it up. Now, if anybody remembers, Pets.com? He was the gentleman that, it fell apart a few years ago, but he's the one that put it, who owned that. He's one of the, that was one of his best known, but for the past 20 years, he's been buying up gaming consoles and games. It's kind of like one of his hobbies. And from what I understand, he paid like $360,000 for this Nintendo PlayStation.
That's a lot of bread.
That's a lot of cheddar. Yeah, that's a lot.
And I like cheese, but
But you got to remember, a mint condition copy of Super Mario Brothers sells for $100,000. This is a one-of-a-kind console that was just about ready to go into production between two companies that eventually became rivals, and still to this day are, but this was the original collaboration.
You mean to tell me that a mint condition copy of Super Mario Brothers for the PlayStation, not PlayStation, I'm sorry, Nintendo Entertainment System, right? That's what you're talking about, is how much now?
Lamore bought a copy of a mint condition copy of Super Mario Brothers for $100,000. It's on record. That's how much you paid for it. Yep, exactly, exactly. I mean, it's really crazy the amount of money. But honestly, that's why the market. If anybody gets into retro gaming and stuff like that, it's really hard to get into, especially if you want to collect them, because the market, just how collectible they are, the original carts are, that they're extremely valuable.
Yeah.
And most people are like, you know, you're going to pay for an original cart that's in fully good working condition. You're going to spend several $100s.
You're going to spend some cash. Yeah,
Yep.
That's.
Yep. You're going to be spending
it's cool.
a lot of
Don't
coin
get me
for that
wrong.
Mario Kart.
That's. But it's just, man. Hey, you know, people collect things. That's cool.
Exactly, and the fact that they're no longer in print.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no,
Right.
It's one of those deals where the whole market, and he's actually one of those people that helped to keep those prices up. But yeah, he bought the PlayStation. So I wanted to touch on that because I've been following that. It was really cool. If you guys watch, go watch Ben Heck on YouTube. He actually tore it down, went through every component, got the CD-ROM working. He basically got the console working 100%. From the videos I watched.
Nice.
And yeah, from it not working because mostly it sat for years in someone's closet. Like someone took it home or it got put in a box somewhere and forgotten about. And it was basically one of those, this is a scrapped idea, toss it. Sony's going to make their own. They're going to redesign everything. And it was actually the controllers were very similar to the original PlayStation controller. Just
That's
some changes.
crazy. That's cool.
Yeah, really cool. All right, so Intel CPU's exploits. So this one I really want to talk about because here recently, a bunch of researchers, and I saw this all over the news. Like it went crazy. But the problem is the way the title was written, it really spoke a lot of really put a lot of fear into people. And I know it's because it was to get attention. It got my attention. But a lot of them, especially like this one, it goes, researchers discovered Intel chips that have an unfixable security flaw. Now, that is a true, that's accurate, but not 100%. It's a little bit misleading. Now, basically what they're talking about is recently some security researchers found that there's a vulnerability in the CSME, or the Converged Security and Management Engine. Now, it's the portion of the computer, it's the portion of the motherboard that controls system boot up. It monitors power levels, firmware, and critically, cryptographic functions. Now, this works during post. This is something that happens at post. After that, everything is handed off to the operating system. Now, they did find a security flaw that during a brief time, during when that system is engaging and your system is posting, there's a brief window, and I'm talking less than a second, if not a second, where code can be injected. Now, mind you, this isn't something that you can do. You can't download a file and have it do this to be able to do this. This security flaw, I'm going to say 99.9% of the computers out there are not going to ever be affected by this. This is not a security flaw in a way that most people are going to have to be worried about. This is a security flaw that requires someone to be physically at your computer to exploit. Probably using either a thumb drive, infecting some of the firmware, which is extremely difficult nowadays, I'm wondering if the problem is they don't go into much details. They're not explaining how it is. They found it and they've released the information to Intel so they can work on it, which hopefully they'll fix it in the next batch of CPUs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going into much detail on how to do it because the last thing they want to do is put it out there where the hackers can go to town on it.
Right.
But for the most part, everything that seems out there, this is something that you physically have to be at the computer
At that in particular.
during
that.
post.
Yeah.
You have to be at the computer and reboot it in order to exploit this. And it's very difficult to do. It's not like someone's going to be able to do this. Nobody's going to be able to probably plug in a thumb drive and just make it happen unless they've kind of geared it specifically to that system. It is a security hole, but a very small one. The reason that it's kind of blown up is one, Intel's been they've had a lot of oopsies over the past several months. I mean, Spectre, Meltdown, I mean, seriously.
Right.
Those were gnarly. Those were major, major foobars. I'll give it to that one. This one, the problem with the difference between Spectre and Meltdown is they were able to patch the operating system to help against those exploits. Being as this all happens before, there's not a whole lot of patching. Like you can't patch the firmware. This is all the way the CPU is designed. So unfortunately, at this point, nobody can tell that there's an ability to patch this. What's going to happen is they're going to have to fix this during the design of the CPUs. Retro Obsessed. Retro Obsessed says hi. How you doing, man? Glad to have you back.
Welcome to the show, Retro.
How's it going? I'm babbling. I saw you post a minute ago.
I was going to say something. I was waiting for a minute to get in there. I didn't want to just cut you off.
Can I?
You can yak.
Now, here we get into the heated thing because I've got a few friends of mine that are AMD heads, or what do we call them? AMD fanboys.
AMD fanboys.
And I've been called an Intel fanboy, and fair enough. The bulk of the computers I have built over the years have been Intel, for good reason. But the AMD fanboys have gone a little nuts with this, and they're talking about, Intel's crap, Intel's stuff. Well, let me introduce something else. We need to put up the fire. Bring up the fire.
Bring up the fire.
So, no, but leave the CPU one up.
Gotcha.
Goes behind it. There we go. So, now this security patch for the Intels does go back several generations of CPUs. I think it's 5 generations of CPUs. And like I said, there's no patch for it. Well, there is an AMD exploit that's out right now. That came out just maybe a week ago. And Grens University of Technology have detailed a pair of side channel attacks under the takeaway name that can leak data from AMD processors dating back to 2011.
Wow.
Whether it's an Athlon X2, there's Athlon 64 X2, Ryzen 7, or Threadripper, all of them are affected by this. This is a exploit that is going back a long time. It's basically the exploits the weight predictor of the level 1 cache to leak memory content.
Well, that's not good.
And basically, they took advantage of the exploit using JavaScript.
Wow.
In common browsers and Chrome and Firefox. I mean, that is gnarly. So, anybody wants to talk about how Intel is crap, and both companies have issues. That's where I'm going at with this. Both companies have design flaws. And there is no way they can go through and know what they're going to, the problems they're going to have. They're going to do testing as best as they can.
Mm-hmm.
But both companies, it's not until the products are out after a while are they going to know that these exploits are there. They're going to do their best with what they know. But going down the road, especially with coding changes, operating system changes, different ways of doing things, they're going to figure out, ways of getting around things, and they're just going to have to change it in next revisions.
Yeah, retro comment. Ooh, red lights, Ray's angry.
He's angry. I'm gonna defend myself here. So I've been told I'm an Intel shill or Intel guy. Fair enough. Everybody knows I've been building computers most of my life. I've worked in computer stores that are now long since gone, and my first taste of AMD was the AMD K62. Was the K62? No. I'm talking the old Socket 7 style with the. I think it was a K62. With the 3D now. I've been messing with AMD. I was messing with Intel, AMD, and Cyrix, and most of you guys have never even played with Cyrix.
I had a Cyrix.
Did you have a Cyrix?
I had a Cyrix 686 P150.
Oh,
the one that was
actually
dubbed
like
the
a
Pentium
120.
Killer. The one that they dubbed it the Pentium Killer. Yeah.
And it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Not.
It was a good computer. Don't get me wrong.
They were great office computers, and that's where I'm going with. Cyrix was great at word processing and great at. They were basically meant to be low-cost CPUs for office environments and stuff like that. That didn't need heavy floating point and didn't need a lot of other stuff that the Intel procs had, but they eventually went away because their naming scheme was just a marketing garbage.
Mm-hmm.
They would sell you a penny, or they would sell you a 120 megahertz processor, but because the way their processors worked on certain benchmarks, which was mostly like office productivity benchmarks, they would perform as well as say their 120 would perform as well as a Pentium 150. So they were like, oh, we are a PR 150. And that was a Pentium rating 150. It was utter BS. It was marketing garbage. And that's why they failed so bad, because I actually got to play around with the Cyrix one time. And I got to say this. Cyrix are great for office. But if you were trying to play a game like, Doom, that ran amazing. I remember playing it on my DX480 or DX466. I can't remember, or DX2. No, it was DX266. Doom ran great. Then I went and bumped up to a Cyrix, and it ran like butthole.
Now, see, I used to run Duke Nukem on mine.
But it ran like butt.
No, it ran. I didn't have an issue with it. It played
until you played on a Pentium. You didn't know what gaming was. The reason being, Cyrix didn't have a floating point or a math coprocessor.
I can't argue with it.
And their floating point was just utter garbage. And so my experience with those original ones. And here's the thing: AMDs were great. They were better, but they were far better than the Cyrix. But they were a little bit cheaper than Intel, and that's the way that they came into the market. And I liked them, but you always got better performance. You paid a little bit more, but you got better performance with the Intel. And the Intels tend to run cooler until the slot ones, and we can get into that, but those were the computers that they made. Well, and eventually AMD made the slot A's, which those were your own little personal space heaters too. Geez, those things ran hot. Those things sucked here in Bakersfield. I'm going to tell you that right now. Anybody ever had a slot one, or unless you guys had the Celerons, which we used to overclock the living snot out of, but the original Pentium slot ones, that was the cartridge style CPU they did for a short period of time, and those were just, man, those generated heat. Those would keep you warm on the chilliest of winters. Like, you didn't run a heater in the house; you just turned on your computer. No joke. No joke. But
I like that.
I really tried to get into AMD when the Barton cores started coming out, around the Socket 370, Socket 428 era. And the AMD had the Barton cores, which was the Socket A, I believe. I really tried to get into. I built several systems. The problem was the AMDs just ran hotter and just didn't have the performance. And for me, whenever I was, especially when I was building business computers at the time, it wasn't so much about the money. It was more about if it ran cooler, it was gonna run longer. We weren't overclocking them, and they're gonna be office computers. And office computers just, unfortunately, they ran better with Intels and with all the productivity suites. I had to build a bunch of people AutoCAD systems. You just couldn't build them. You could, but they just ran so much more reliable with Intels. And I really tried with the Bartons. Those were fun to overclock. I'm not going to lie. Those were a lot of fun. But I'd say the biggest gnarly thing about the Barton cores at that point in time was the fact that they didn't have the heat spreader on top. And a lot of people are like, well, it cooled better. Yeah, but you don't remember at times we got CPUs brought back and the guys would chip the corners because they're just going to get the CPU in. I mean, literally, I have personally seen guys pour thermal paste on the pin pad between the CPU and the motherboard, not on top of the CPU and the heatsink. No, they didn't put thermal paste there because they didn't think it needed it there. No, in between the CPU and tried to bring it back, try to get their money back. And we're like, you did that wrong. You didn't read online or anything before you tried to assemble this. But I digress. There's always been exploits for both CPUs. There will always be. Eventually, some people will find them. I know right now everybody's doing the bashing on Intel. I'm glad. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I am happy to see Intel get bashed on. I am happy. I am ecstatic. I have actually been building a lot of Ryzen systems lately. I love them. They're amazing. I am so happy that AMD has finally come out with their Ryzen and Threadripper. The reason being is it completely knocked Intel for one. They had gotten stagnant and lazy. They had just became corporate fat cats of just every year we'll make slight changes and charge a premium for it. And we'll keep upping our prices because who's gonna stop us? Without the AMD's competition, we were getting lackluster bump ups. Every generation was just a slightly different tweak of the previous generation. They had just been lazy.
Retro just asked, I'm sorry, Ray, have you opened up Steam today by chance?
Yes, I did. Today? Not today. I opened up the other day when you sent me the copy of that racing game. SRS, I think it is. Street Racing Syndicate. So I did open up my Steam and I saw that. I don't know about today though.
I'm happy with the Ryzen so far. Always room. He says, I'm happy with the Ryzen so far. Always room for an upgrade.
Yes.
I think.
Kinda. You're gonna find that just because you think you can upgrade, you may not be able to. You got to remember, there's no motherboard manufacturers will never be happy if AMD or Intel, it doesn't matter, keep releasing new CPUs for older motherboards. Two, it's kind of hard to make a new CPU on an older board tech. You every so often you have to make it. Nope, you need a new board to support these new CPUs with this new code or whatever. And so expect that there'll be a time where you probably will. Maybe eventually you'll be able to get a Ryzen 9 or a Ryzen 7 upgrade on yours, relatively cheap because it'll be a generation or 2 generations back. That'll be awesome. Oh, Crow!
Spaghetti
Crow goes,
pants.
spaghetti pants. No. But yeah, where was I going with that? All manufacturers have issues with CPUs. Hell, even Broadcom and or not Broadcom. All the CPUs for mobile devices. I'm forgetting the name of them. Even those, the people have found exploits and stuff. Heck, they found massive exploits for Bluetooth, which has nothing to do with any of the companies. The other thing is where I was going with that was AMD and Intel. Going back on track, I just remember where I was at. AMD releasing their the Threadripper and the Ryzen series has just caught Intel off guard, and they have not been able to catch up. They're not even. If you've read the latest news, Intel isn't even going to have a 7-nanometer processor until 2021 at the earliest. And they said that in their investor meetings. So it's not like they can just go up to 7 nanometer. No, they're kind of locked in, and they've got to develop towards it. They have been caught so far off guard by AMD, and the prices have been coming down. The competition has been absolutely glorious for all of us, except for now that we got the coronavirus and the China issue. So prices kind of were going back up, which is what which companies kind of like. But still, it's been nice to see AMD putting the hurt on people. Now, for those that think that AMD is going to crush Intel, please don't be delusional. Under no circumstance, this is putting a dent, a good dent into Intel, and I'm glad to see it because they're finally being brought down a few notches and realizing they actually got to start giving us actual CPU upgrades, actual new lines. The next one is just going to be a refresh. Now, supposedly they're supposed to be doing a bunch more, but in actually one of the deals I saw that there's some tech coming from Lakefield that is going to get put into the new. They saw it in the new i5, so let's see where we're going with that. But I'm just happy to see it. I really am. I'm really tired of the stagnant. It's really caught Intel off guard. Prices are starting to come down, more reasonable as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, we're really going to start seeing some. We're not seeing just refreshed hair. Here's a dual core. Here's a quad core. You know, this is what you get. Now Intel's like, oh crap, we got to really up these core counts.
We got to actually do something.
Yeah, we actually got to do some tech, and we've actually got to do some upgrades and stuff. So, I don't know. Anybody else got any questions? I'm not seeing anything in here. I think everybody's kind of. Let's just say, anybody wants to know. This is my stance on when it comes to AMD and Intel, because I've got a lot of people. I've got people, oh, Apple sucks, Android all the way. And, Android sucks, AMD sucks, Intel all the way, AMD sucks. It's like, here's my thought process on it. I want whatever's the best, that's the most reliable. And I balance out three key things. Heat, quality, or performance, heat, performance, and price. Whatever falls into those three categories, the best is what I usually go with. Here recently, I have built like 4 new, 2 office computers and 2 studio computers, all running either Ryzen 3 or Ryzen 5s. So far, they've been running flawlessly.
Nice.
Flawlessly. Software's been running like it should. I'm happy. I haven't ran into any big issues with software glitches that normally plagued AMDs in the past, but...
Retro asks, did we do a candy challenge or cave gem?
We have not done either one. Tonight we don't have a candy challenge. We came a little short on that. I tried looking around, but...
yeah, I couldn't find anything.
I've been really busy lately. I've been doing my best to try to keep up, but... we do have a cage gem, and I think it's a really good time. So officially, I am done with the AMD talk. I can do that now. All right. We have a cave gem. And it's going to be mostly the beard doing this tonight.
Yes. Now, see, these are, I don't know what the official name is. I have information. Do we?
These are, I completely forgot to print those out, didn't I?
I call them zombie popsicle molds.
They are. These are the, I will pull it up right now. Give me a second. These are zombie popsicle molds. They actually have several of them. Do you already post the link in chat?
I'm doing that right now.
Okay. Let me go to my history. These are the Zombies Ice Pops molds with flexible silicone.
Now, see, these are the handles. This is one of them. All
the
right, now this
spine
is good.
In those, the
yeah,
ribs.
It's great, and the ribs, and it goes right on there like that. And yeah, these are great. We use these as opposed to regular ice trays. We use these, and yeah, we pop a zombie in the glass, and we cool off our drinks. This one, I love this one. He's kind of a redneck zombie. He's got the overalls. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah, right?
I like the one with the tie, too.
The first... Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah, that's this guy. I call him the Fred Flintstone zombie because that kind of looks like Fred Flintstone.
He kind of does.
Kind of.
I like how the little feet stick up out of the holder
and then
while you're freezing them.
They gave you the more feminine looking zombie because, you know.
She she reminds me a lot of Nightmare. What's her name from Nightmare?
Sally.
Sally.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Sally.
But yeah, they freeze really well, and they pop right out of these molds. The ice.
Yeah, because the mold just lets it go, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Now I have some skull molds that are from another company. Those are difficult to get out. They take a little work, but these are great. They pop right out, and you just pop them in the
I'm going to say
dishwasher.
this though. I am very much upset because he teased.
I did.
He teased,
I teased
the popsicles.
I was going to make some whiskey popsicles,
And
I ended up
as
getting.
you can see,
I did not.
I am sitting here with just whiskey.
But
not
I brought whiskey,
popsicles.
but that's not good enough, and I understand that. I did tease. And yeah. Oh, Retro says, "Oh, sorry, I had something for y'all today, but I had frozen meat in my car. Had to leave." Well, when you have frozen meat in your car, you have to get home.
Yeah. And I apologize. He was trying to drop him off with me, and I got called out to somewhere, and I was across town when he tried to drop him off. And
Retro, next time something like that happens, hit me up through Facebook because we're connected there. And then because I think you still have a drum head that I am interested in purchasing off of you. So yeah.
But
yeah, these zombie these are great. I highly suggest them.
They actually have a couple of them too. If you click the link, you'll see that they have.
And these
dynos.
are sturdy handles. They're not like they're not poorly made.
They're pretty
They
strong.
hold up, and the ribs and the spine go right in there, and then you can just it's great.
The swords ones I have to. Okay, the two I like the next to the zombies. Because if you guys click the link, you'll see that they actually have like 6 different kind of molds like
They
these.
have more? Okay.
Yeah, they have a sword, which is
nice.
different sword types, and tikis.
Tikis.
I
Excellent.
like the tikis.
Excellent.
But the zombies are really cool. I need to get me a set of these zombies. For,
I could see you and the kids just having a ball in the
my
summertime.
daughter would love them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bite the head of the zombie. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep, zombies ice popsicle mold, flexible silicone.
We tend to
easy
trip out
removal.
our guests when we have them come over. They're like, "Hey, do you have any ice?" "Yeah, we have zombies. Would you like one?"
Oh, that would be cool too. Yeah.
And they're actually a pretty good size. You only need one in a beverage glass. It cools it down. Yeah, it's good.
I like those swords. I really do. Those are kind of cool. They're like short, stubby swords, but still, it's kind of cool.
That's great. I need to order some of the swords. Man, now I have to shop. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, this is my problem. I get start to shopping and I start looking at things, and this is why I try to avoid Amazon, because I always seem to buy stuff when I shouldn't.
Right.
Let's see here. Retro Obsessed. No worries, you'll get it tomorrow. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, the
still
drum
have
head.
the
Yep,
drum
still
head.
have the drum
Okay.
head.
So yeah, those are the zombie popsicles. Check them out; they're really cool. Those of you guys are curious, listening on the podcast, we got the link down below, so go ahead and click on that. It's
Yes,
Amazon.
it is
And
there.
everybody, once again, these are Amazon associate links. These do help us out. If you do purchase something, you click the link and you purchase something, we do get a little bit back. A lot of times it's a couple of cents. Sometimes
It's just
a couple
change. It's
Of dollars.
it's not
But it
much.
helps. It really
But
does.
it's a
It really
little
helps.
something.
It's how we get the lights and a bunch of other stuff, and a little bit better microphones. My next major thing is buying more batteries.
Batteries.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
So, yeah, the blue behind you looks good, dude.
I like the blue behind me. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
I think we need to go down to the big one.
The big one.
The big one. This is something I'm really excited for.
This is the big one.
Oh, the big one. So,
Ray,
everybody, we all know that Doom Eternal's been coming out.
Hang on. I have to say, you're still out of character.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. See? Now, for those of you that are on the podcast, right now, what Ray is wearing is a very lovely unicorn little headpiece.
It is a black unicorn horn with black ears with pink inserts that are glittery.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm wearing this
There is a reason.
is we got a lovely little what was it, yesterday? We got a little notification. Now, we've known that Doom was going to have skins. Every Doom game's got skins, even the old one. You can change the color. The original Doom DOS game, you can change the color, and eventually people were able to adjust the sprites. But Doom 2016, you had different skins, but they're kind of going a little bit more on Doom Eternal. And the latest video, if you guys want to click the link down below,
Please do. Please.
they've got they put out a video on some of the new skins, and one of them they decided to come out with was the DOOMicorn. Yes. Now all the skins look pretty sick, I'm gonna admit.
Oh yeah, they look great.
But they decided to put out a DOOMicorn, which is the unicorn Doom guy.
I don't even like
Doom,
unicorns, and I want this.
No, it's not Doom guy. It's the Doom Slayer.
The Doom Slayer,
I apologize.
yes.
It is Doom Slayer. Now,
Yes.
Doom guy is from the original Doom game. Doom Slayer, if I remember correct, is from Doom 2016 and the current Doom Eternal. And for every intents and purposes, when it comes to the storyline, they are different people. The original Doom guy predates the Doom Slayer currently. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Now, if you want to get said over here DOOMicorn, it will be a Twitch Amazon Prime loot item.
Yes, it's a drop in Twitch Prime, isn't it?
Yep, it is. So you got to be like a Twitch Prime, and I don't know if you have to be a Twitch subscriber, but a Twitch Prime person in order to get it. And I don't remember what's going to drop. But yeah, Doom Eternal. Let's see here. Ultra Gaming E1M1 intensifies. Yes. It looks awesome. I don't know if anybody's played the Doom 2016 version.
Oh, okay.
It really brought us back to... I mean, there's a lot of changes to it, but I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I really did. It really, really reminded me a lot more of the original Doom, but a lot more. It basically felt a little bit more like Brutal Doom, but in its own way.
All right.
It wasn't like a rehash of it. They actually did a pretty good job. There's a lot of unique upgrades and stuff like that, and finding the little Doom dolls around the maps. That's really fun. Now, currently, and I'm going to tell everybody right now, this is very, very important. listen to me closely right now. This is very, very important.
Listen carefully
now,
folks.
If you pre-purchase, listen closely, you too. If you pre-purchase Doom Eternal on Steam,
pre-purchase.
Remember, this game is coming out on the 20th.
March 20th.
So you got to pre-purchase it, like ASAP. As soon as probable. You will get a copy of Doom 64. Now, for those of you who don't know, Doom 64 wasn't a rehash of Doom 2 for Nintendo 64. Oh, no.
No, it was not.
No. It was a sequel.
It was a sequel.
It was. I like what you're doing there. I'm kind of getting excited. Doom 64 was a game made by Midway Games for the Nintendo 64. It was exclusive to the Nintendo 64. And it was 1997 because Doom 2 came out in 1994. And it actually it had no multiplayer. It was just single player. It had 32 levels.
32. That's a lot of levels.
Yeah, it had all the weapons, but they couldn't bring back all the monsters, and you couldn't do. They could not get everything they had into it and put multiplayer. They never had multiplayer. Now, this being said, Doom 64 is being released on the 20th as well. If you pre-purchase Doom Eternal, you will get Doom 64.
You'll get
now, this is the first time it has ever been released outside of the Nintendo 64.
Retro Obsessed says, opening Steam, I need Doom for my N64 collection.
Not only that. They are adding, there's going to be a new campaign to it.
Ooh, interesting.
So there, not only Doom 64 going to be, this is the first time it's ever been released outside of the Nintendo 64, but it's also going to have new content never seen before.
Very nice.
Which I'm assuming, this is my belief, they had to cut things out because of space restrictions on the Nintendo 64 cards. I have a feeling this was stuff they were working on that had to scrap. And they basically went through and finished it.
Nice. So they have the chance to go ahead and release it now.
Yeah. Oh, what's the message retracted?
I don't have an option to.
I don't know why I did that.
That's weird. Oops, wrong button. Deleted my message. Okay.
That's okay.
That was just a
So,
keyboard thing.
On top of that.
On top of that, there's more.
Oh, dude, there's so much more. We got a lot to talk about.
He's excited. Here it comes.
I'm so excited, dude. It's Doom. It's Doom. It's Doom.
It's Doom Eternal. Get it right.
Doom Eternal, yes. I don't care. It's still Doom. So, they have released
They have.
the system specs.
They did.
Oh, this is the end. Now, please get in mind, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, that seems a bit extreme. That seems a bit high. Yes, welcome to ID Software.
Right.
Welcome to, okay, none of you guys remember us cranking up. When Quake 2 dropped, we were cranking the game up high just to see how cool the little black dots that flew around, they were sprites that were flies on the dead bodies, and we thought that was just the coolest thing ever.
They did. It was rather disturbing, but they really did.
We were getting less than 1 frames per second because we jacked it up as high as a resolution as we could, but we don't care. It was pretty. And we were just running the demo just to watch the demo run, but it was just like, oh my, look at that, look at the textures, oh my God.
They were
The game is
flies.
brown, but we don't care. It's beautiful. Memories.
It's
So-
interesting when he goes down memory lane.
Let's see here.
Are these the minimum specs?
They've released
or best quality?
low quality and high quality and PC Ultra Nightmare settings.
So we have almost the full spectrum.
So for minimum low quality settings, and this is 1080 60 frames per second, low quality settings. I wish I could read right. I'm
This
horrible
is
at that.
Ray's like happy time.
Yes,
when he gets
I need
to
a
talk
happy juice for happy time.
specs and stuff. It's
First
Yeah.
and foremost, you will not be running this game on a 32-bit operating system. This is a Windows 10 only game, which I don't know anybody running Windows 10, and if you are, seriously? All right. So, first and foremost, 64-bit Windows. Well, actually, no, 64-bit Windows 7 or 64-bit Windows 10. I think I only known 1 or 2 people my entire life that were running a 64-bit version of Windows 7. All right. Minimum i5 3.3 gigahertz or better, or Ryzen 3 3.1 gigahertz or better. Not bad settings. That's
Not bad.
actually respectable.
yeah.
8 gigabytes of RAM. That's doable.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Minimum.
not horrible.
1050 Ti 4 gig, a 1060 3 gig, a 1650 4 gig, AMD R9 280 3 gig, R9 290 4 gig, or an RX 470 4 gig, and 50 gigabytes of available space, of hard drive space.
Wow. Not bad.
That's low quality.
Mm-hmm.
Now, recommended at 1440, 60 frames per second, high quality settings. 1, 64-bit Windows 10. That's it. No Windows 7, Windows 10. i7 6700 or better, or a Ryzen 7 1800X or better. 8 gigs of RAM. 8 gigs is not, actually, I think that's very, very good. The fact that even at high end, they only need 8 gigs of RAM. I'd say that's pretty good. Because I remember like a couple of games, they were like, oh, you need 16 gigs a game. Like it would prompt you to tell you need 16 gigs. It's like, it's a real-time strategy. How does this need any more than 4? Anyway, graphics card, a GTX 1080, a RTX 2060, 6 gig, an RX Vega 56, 8 gig,
Nice.
or if you want to run 1080, 60 frames, high quality settings, a 1060, 6 gig, a 970, for any of you that have a 970, 4 gig will run, an RX 480 for 8 gig, GTX 970 only, set texture quality to medium, 50 gigs of storage space.
How about a Ryzen? Retro Obsessed asks, how about a Ryzen 5 1600 970 FTW, 16 gigabytes
win.
of RAM, 2 terabytes hard disk drive, Windows 10 64.
The Ryzen 5, you're going to be right in the middle of, you're probably going to be medium quality settings just for the CPU. Because Intel's pretty good about CPU. I know they said Ryzen 3, 3.1 or better for the, but for Ryzen 5, because being as you're running a 1600, that's just below the Ryzen 7 1800. So you're probably going to be running about mid-quality settings, which is still going to look beautiful. I'm just going to say that right now. You're going to be doing good.
It's still going to be pretty.
Maybe minimum setting. No, you'll be about mid-level. You're going to be in between minimum and recommended. Now, for some of my crazy friends.
For some of my crazy friends.
For some of my friends with more money than sense. And you know who you are. I built your systems. Don't lie to me. PC Ultra Nightmare. We're talking 4K, 60 frames per second, Ultra Nightmare settings. Or 1440, 120 frames per second, Ultra Nightmare settings. Once again, Windows 10, 64-bit. Processor, i9 9900K or better. Or Ryzen 7 3700. I think the fact that Ryzen's getting a better deal out of this. 16 gigs of RAM, an RTX, minimum RTX 2080 Ti with 11 gigs. So to run the Ultra Nightmare, you need to spend minimum $2,000 on a computer and 50 gigs of hard drive space. So yeah. Ultra nerd settings. Yeah, retro obsessed. Oh, Ray. Exactly. I'm going. See, I've got. Let's see here. Problem is mine isn't any. I kind of float in. I'm going to be in the ultra high because I am running Xeons and they're 3.3 gigahertz. So my CPU, because I'm running 64 gigs of RAM and I'm running a 1080, so I'm going to be right at high quality or just below high quality. Ultra Nightmare, yeah, I think that'll make my dual Xeons melt. Now, the game does come out on March 20th. If you guys want to know the unlock times, basically if you've already when you pre-download the game, when the game unlocks so you can play. In Australia, New Zealand, and Asia, it unlocks at 7:01 Pacific time on March 20th or 12:01 a.m. JST, which is Japan Standard Time?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Europe and the rest of the world is 4:01 p.m. Pacific Time on March 20th, which is 12:01 GMT, or which is
Greenwich Mean Time.
Greenwich. Thank you, Greenwich. I think general. North and South America, 9:01 p.m. on March 20th, or 12:01 Eastern East EDT. So at 9 o'clock on March 20th is when we get the game. But here's the cool thing a lot of people don't realize. Most game companies don't write. Basically, they write their games for a limited frame rate, and it's kind of helps saves on resources. Doom Eternal, if you've got the hardware, it'll run 1,000 frames per second. Now, granted, there isn't a monitor out there that can handle that, and I don't even think there's a video card that can do it. But if you've got the money, you can at least try. That's the best way. I'm probably going to be playing. I'm going to try to play some of the Doom 2016 just to kind of refresh myself with it. Now, here's another thought process I'm going on this, because the hype train's going out like crazy, and I am really scared. Because one, when the hype train is that big, you kind of learn that there's a 50-50 shot that, and I'm only saying this from experience, and I'm hoping this doesn't happen. I really don't. I really don't want to see that Doom Eternal is this epic hype train that faceplants. I really don't. My biggest fear right now is that, and it's justified. I mean, John Carmack's no longer a part of it. This is now more of a Bethesda game. And Bethesda, is it Bethesda? I may be wrong on that. I just said that, and I could be wrong. Let me...
Doom Eternal.
I think it is a Bethesda. Yeah, Bethesda. It is. Doom is a Bethesda game, and Bethesda hasn't had the greatest track record
Not recently,
lately.
unfortunately.
So, that justification right there
Doom Eternal is the new Crisis.
has got me a little scared that it's going to fall flat on its face. When the hype train is that much, you kind of go, I don't know. Like, we haven't seen videos, but you guys are pushing this pretty bad. Is it's going to be that good, or is it going to be it's really that bad and you're just hoping everybody buys it before they catch on? And I really want to support this game. I really do. It's Doom. It's Doom Guy. It's fast-paced, first-person shooter bliss. Doom 2016 was really, really good. Those that have not bought it, have not played it, pick it up. It's a lot of fun. It's a good romp. It does play very well. It really brings back to storyline. There's a bit more of a story to it. It does tie into the original Doom, but they kind of explain basically how there's been different Doom guys throughout the years, and you are now the Doom Slayer. I guess we're going to have the Doom Conqueror or the Doom Taxidermist. I don't know. We're going to have some new Doom guys.
The Doom Taxidermist. Borderlands 3? Has Ray been playing Borderlands 3?
I do want to go into that one, but that one's kind of a sore story for me. And I do know that, let's go ahead and talk about that. I think we're done. Check it out. I'm probably going to get I'm going to have to get it. If anything, I'll prepay for it just so I can get Doom 64. And getting Doom 64 with Doom Eternal, I think, to me, that's kind of worth it.
Yeah.
But for Borderlands 3, if you guys have not noticed that it is coming out, it is hitting Steam on the 14th, I think. And it is on discount right now too. I just got an announcement today that it's on sale on Steam, and they're releasing it the same day that the new expansion comes out. I'm so pretty. Mandy Mora goes, "You're so pretty, Ray." Thank you, thank you. Cold Crow Gaming goes, "The Doom Accountant." But I said that I was going to buy a copy of Borderlands 3 for Steam, and I really do. I want to get it for Steam so I don't have to run the Epic Store anymore, because I don't really play Fortnite, and other than Fortnite and Borderlands 3, I have no use for opening the Epic Game Store. And once I get it on, once I have Borderlands 3 on Steam, I don't even need the Epic Game Store anymore. I have no benefit for it.
I've been playing Borderlands 3. Well, I played it for a while on PS4, but
I'm going to say that, here's my thing. I have almost 400 hours logged in Borderlands 2. My favorite character was Maya. Now, I was a little upset when they killed off, what is it? What's his name in Borderlands 2? I'm forgetting his name. I'm drawing a blank. I hate names. Names suck. Anyway, in Borderlands 3, they decided, hey, killing one was good. In Borderlands 3, let's kill off two. Two's better than one, right? So let's murder two of them. And they did. They offed. We don't know if Lilith has been offed, but for far as we know, Lilith is gone, and so is Maya. And Maya's death upset me. Like, it hit hard for me. It made it difficult for me to play the game. And here's why. One, I devoted a lot of time into my Maya character on Borderlands 2. I loved that character. It was so much fun. I loved the storyline. I enjoyed a lot of her dialogue. In Borderlands 2, really brought her up. She went back to her town. She really tried to bring people up. But she tried to bring up this little self-serving, narcissistic, spoiled brat. Just this annoying, just hearing her voice irritating brat. And we knew at the very beginning, which was really, really horrible and crappy story, bad dialogue. Oh, I know she's going to become a siren one day. And this whole siren power to jump ship, I thought that kind of ruined it for me. I thought that was a little cheesy. I guess it's easy. It makes it easier to write stories. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky and what's her name? Moxie will get siren powers. I mean, she'll at least get tattoos on her boobs, and it'll be great. But
now, Retro or Old Crow Gaming says Roland. Is that the name of the character you were talking about?
Who? Roland. Thank you. Yes, Roland. Roland's the one that got. He was the leader of the Crimson Raiders in he got offed in the Borderlands 2, and hands down the best expansion I have ever played. Because not only was it fun, but the underlying story was so heart-touching, and that was Tiny Tina's assault on Dragon Keep. And it's basically Borderlands 2 playing a Dungeons & Dragons game, but the underlying tone is how much Tiny Tina is heartbroken over the loss of Roland. It was the way they wrote it, the way that it rolled out, the way they put it together was absolute brilliance. And the guys that did that expansion, I can't thank you enough for putting together my personal, hands down, the best expansion for any game I've ever played.
There are almost tears forming in his eyes right now. That this is how much it means to him.
And then whoever did the storyline and whoever came up with Borderlands, honestly, once Maya got off, I was like, and the fact that she got killed because the kid was just too self-absorbed, and that little brat who got Maya killed, plain and simple, and she got offed, and it's just, honestly, the second time I went to go play it through the game through, it's not Vault Hunter mode. Yeah, it's true Vault Hunter mode. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't stand to listen to that little kid. I don't want someone. Please tell me there's going to be expansion that we don't have to listen to that character anymore. The character, just send that character on a mission, make it go away. You don't have to kill off a kid, but just make it go away. I'm tired of that kid. I don't care. That character, that story plot, that idea of let's off two characters in a game was dumb. That was stupid. It was bad design. On top of that, the character you created to replace Maya was 100% top to bottom a bad decision. It's just a horrible character. It really is. And just listening to that character, now that I know that she's going to get Maya killed, made it difficult to play through the second time. I stopped playing the game. I haven't played the latest expansion. The new one's coming out, and it's just like, if I've got to listen to her again, I kind of don't want to play it. I really want. Could somebody make a mod where that character gets completely erased, or maybe just replace all the dialogue by that character with just R2D2's bleeps and bloops? I would be so happy. Let's see here. Old Crow, I haven't played BL3 yet, but I'm happy with that Gage. Gage is coming back. Good. Gage was a great character. And if anybody knows, Gage was an added character after the fact. She was like a DLC character in Borderlands 2, and she kind of had mechs. It's kind of like Moe's, except instead of you jumping in a mech, it's a automated robot that flies around. It's really cool. It was kind of like what's his name, Roland's turrets, but it was mobile and didn't have a shield. But it was great. It was a great mechanic. I enjoyed that character. That character was a lot of fun. I do know in the original Borderlands 3, her story was a little thin. Like, she went off and disappeared. Come to find out, the robot tech or the tech she had got stolen, and that's where all the robots in Borderlands 3 come from, was from her stolen designs. But she kind of disappeared because she got blamed for the death of somebody's daughter or something like that. So the fact that they're bringing her back, I'm kind of happy about that. I'm really anxious to see what. Yeah, Mechromancer. That was her. She was the Mechromancer. That was Gage. Gage was a great character. If you guys want to play Borderlands 3, and you can actually, they're on Steam. They're really cheap. I honestly play through the games because the storyline that goes through is really great, and you really want to play the first Borderlands to get your hands around the characters before you get to Borderlands 2. But you can jump into Borderlands 2 if you want to. Borderlands 2 is still a phenomenal game. Like I said, I have like 370 hours in Borderlands 2, and I'd say 3/4 of that was just with Maya. I love that character. Just you're trapped, sucking every. She had a deal where you siren lifted and sucked everybody to him. Oh, so awesome! I love that character. That character was just so much fun. Where are we at on time? I think
we're at an hour.
Oh, we're good. We got a few more
time.
minutes.
So
we're doing good.
We're good.
But yeah, I am still on the fence. I did say it a few months ago, and I'm one of those. I hate to break my word. I did say that I was going to buy it, and I'm probably going to do that just to have it on Steam so I can have all 3 of my games on one platform.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, I'd rather play it on Steam than I would on the Epic Game Store. I would love to be able to transfer all my characters and everything over, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to allow you to do that. Even though you have an account and you got to sign in and everything, well, can I pull my character? No, we don't want to do that because we don't want people leaving the Epic Store. We want to try to force people to stay here. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'll be happy to go. You finally be able to delete the Epic Game Store because, like I said, Fortnite, it's fun to play once in a blue moon, but I really don't care for it. It's not my game. I'd rather play, one of the many other games. Heck, I still break out Counter-Strike Source.
I've been enjoying Killing Floor. I'm not even gonna lie.
Which one?
Killing Floor.
Oh, you've been playing Killing Floor. You played Killing Floor 2?
I haven't checked out Killing Floor 2 yet.
Okay.
I'm excited because I just got my computer in a much better physical location.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to be setting a
How's it running for
backdrop
you?
up, and it's working really well. I'm having some issues though because I have it. We just got another a larger TV, so I'm using our previous TV as a monitor.
Okay.
And I'm having trouble with the ratio.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
see
You
the
have to go in the
full
video
screen.
settings, and I can show you how to do this. But you got to go in the video settings because, okay, if anybody knows what is trying to use a TV, this is a good tech tip.
Mm-hmm.
Any guys trying to use a TV for a computer monitor, you have to remember TVs use something called overscan.
Mm-hmm.
And what this is back in the day, and they still implement this, and we don't know why. It doesn't make any friggin' sense. Now we have LCDs, but they do it. So, if you remember back in the old days, we used to have tube TVs. Now, the tube sat inside, but you would have the bezel that sat in front of the glass tube. Now, if you looked inside, the tube was actually bigger around than the actual bezel. So the picture went full, and depending on manufacturer, depending on what was the thickness of that bezel. So we had, and if anybody edits videos, you have what they call safety margins. There is literally around the entire thing, there is a gap that you have to adjust for because those will be off screen because of the old 70s and 80s tube TVs. And to this day, even though there is no screen past the bezel, they still project the image where they just emit out a section of the screen. Now, computers, you can adjust for this. You go into the video properties, and there is a way to adjust the vertical and horizontal. And basically what you do is you go in and you just size it down. And what happens is it sizes the picture down and just creates black around the outside, but you can't see it because you've sized it down to the margins of the screen.
Okay.
That's how you got to do it. And sometimes there's a quick button for overscan, underscan. And sometimes it's just you go through and do your size, or you just resize the screen. Okay. And all you're doing is you're just shrinking the sides, shrinking the top and bottom, and it'll size up perfectly.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, you can do that. Let's see here. Old Crow. Gage was my character for for the big BL2 stream my team did a few years ago, actually. Yeah, Gage was a lot of fun. I liked that. Gage and Maya were my two favorites. I liked the soldier. He was okay. Who was the other ones? Zero. Zero was cool looking. His haikus were awesome, but I really didn't get into that much. It was okay. Retro Obsessed goes, like my Sony Trinitron CRTs in my game room. Yeah, exactly. Your Sony Trinitrons are an old tube style, and there's overscan. There's actually picture beyond the bezel. That's why if you ever watch TV on a computer screen, you'll pay attention to this. Watch a show on TV, but look at where the cutoff on the bottom of your screen is. Now go and watch that on a computer screen, and you'll notice there's that little bit of extra. And sometimes, which is really cool, if you're one of those people that look for goof ups and oopses in movies, sometimes they're just off the screen where they can't see them, and that's how they miss them during editing. But once they go back, you can actually watch it on a computer screen, and you'll catch some of the little off the screen, what they call off the screen things. It's kind of cool.
Ha! All right. We had a Gage, a Maya, a Krieg, and a Zero. Old Crow Gaming
awesome.
said, all right.
Krieg is really cool. If anyone, this is another reason I tell people to play Borderlands 2. Krieg I believe he was an add-on. He is, now you guys know, one of the bad guys in Borderlands 2 and the Borderlands are psychos. They're just people that have gone out of their mind. Mm-hmm. Well, Krieg is a psycho, and as the story progresses, you find out that he didn't start off as a psycho. He actually was experimented on that split his personality. And he has spent many years, I don't want to get too far into it, it's actually absolutely phenomenal because in Borderlands, you play it in Borderlands 2 to get the basics of it. In Borderlands 3, you don't see him, but there's a bunch of audio cassettes, audio logs you pick up that go deeper into a story, and you find out more about him. And his character is really coming along nicely. So that's the thing. In Borderlands 3, there's so much in character development they've done for past characters that are great. And then there's that annoying little brat.
Yeah, Old Crow Gaming just said, yeah, Krieg and Gage were DLC characters.
They were. And they were a lot of fun. I have yet to... I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to pick up play a Krieg character one day and just go through... Because it's more along the lines of playing the character and playing every stuff like that. Because he was really, really cool. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Maya was my favorite, and I actually built a Maya character one time a while back because I've built several Mayas, and one was a team healer one where whenever you did damage, it healed all your allies, and I built him for when we were playing multiplayer. I built a team healer Maya, and that was a fun character to play. Krieg, I'd have to check out. I really don't know much about Krieg, so. Anyway, I think that's about it. Dude, you guys have been absolutely awesome. Those of you guys in chat, it's been great talking with you. We're going to have to cut this out because we need to do all our post-production stuff. Those of you guys listening on the podcast, thank you guys very much for listening.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys want to, we are on, I posted up in the Nerd Cave Show Facebook page. I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's over on Podbean. You can find me either by AudioCraZ or searching for Nerd Cave Show if you guys want to get the podcast. Search for us there, dude. Anything, like the video, share it with your friends. Greatly appreciate it. We love all you guys. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. You guys really make doing this every single week just a lot of fun. And we look forward to doing this every single week. We're hopefully next week. I think next week we're gonna have some more people in on the couch.
Hopefully, it's always a blast when we have people in.
Oh
here,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I love the energy. So anyway, you guys have a great evening, and we will see you next week.
Take it easy, folks.